I have my own rule of thumb, and that's never leaving a mixing session without having something automated. I need some movement, I need some interest, I need some shifting of focus. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 automation tricks that can work in any genre. I'm going to show you how to set up the automation, break down why each trick is important to your mix, and of course, provide you with some audio examples. Let's go. And here's a small task for you while watching. Think of which of these automation tricks you like the most and want to try out first. And if other automation tricks comes to mind that isn't mentioned in this video, hit me up in the comments and share. Automation in Logic is pretty simple. You just hit A to open the automation panes, and then you hit touch on the track that you want to automate stuff on. It could be audio, it could be MIDI instruments, whatever. And then you start tweaking a parameter like this. And when you've done, you can erase what you have written, and then you can start writing in yourself. You can just double click or pull up the pencil tool, whatever fits your workflow best. The first automation trick that can work in any genre is to automate the delay. Look at this. Here's an example from a hip hop beat, delay automation for Ear Candy. We have some cuts and scratches. I have a delay throw right here, a send going into an echo boy, like this, with a quarter note of delay, so you can listen with and without. I have here another song in another genre with some delay automation on the lead vocal in the hook, and I've just automated a part of the last phrase going into a Baby Audio Comeback Kid with a ping pong delay and some subtle character. Listen without first. I did your body, and then listen with. I did your body, Angelina, in solo. I did your body. Like that. Really effective for creating a much more blended transition from chorus to verse, so that you don't forget about the chorus when the verse is on. It just fades away a bit. It's a nice effect. I first and foremost use this automation trick to create some interest, to create some ear candy, and I also use this to help the storytelling of the song. You can do so that at a certain point the attention from the listener is dragged towards a certain element of the mix, like in the coming example. I have a string section right here. I have duplicated that track, and I have inserted a section of the region, as you can see here. This is the same region, and I've shortened it down just to have a stab, sort of. And this is just to remind the listener of the main theme of the song. This is not automation per se, but I wanted something special for this one with the rhythm echo. It's another type of delay. No automation going on here, but the principle is the same. You can listen in solo. Like that. Sometimes the listener needs to be aware of certain elements that are in the song but not played. For example, in the verse, having an element from the chorus put into the verse could be a really effective way of doing this. So it's sort of like foreshadowing what is to come in the chorus, for example, when everything gets hot. And you can call it storytelling because it follows sort of like the story arc that you see in movies and TV shows. And all communication have in it some form of drama or tension building, and it's important to accentuate that in the mix. Of course, you do it in production, but the mixing is there to enhance what the intention of the production is. Now, the second automation trick that can work in any genre is the reverb automation trick. So you automate the reverb send to push some elements back in the mix and bring something else forward into the mix. Now here's some reverb automation that goes on some keys, and the reason for this is to push the keys back a bit in the mix, not down in volume but backwards, so that there's a noticeable difference between this section and the next. Listen to how dry it is, and then it becomes more wet. think of the soundscape of a song as three-dimensional. So you have up and down, which is the volume, and then you have to the sides, which is the panning, and then you have to the front and to the back, which is oftentimes called space. Reverb is one tool to create sense of space. So if something is flushed down with a lot of reverb, it sounds like it's further back in the mix. And if it becomes drier, it sounds more forward in the mix. That's why, for example, in rap, you want to have less reverb on the lead vocals, but maybe more on the background vocals. And in other genres, you might want to have more reverb to make the vocals shine more, but pull it a bit back and let the other instruments also shine. So it's really, that's genre dependent. But what isn't genre dependent is this reverb trick that I'm about to show you. So here's another song in another genre where I have used reverb automation, and you can see here I've used it on two elements in the mix, the main loop and an alternative loop, which is sort of like a synth pad. And this is right before the chorus. On this one I have a send, and on this one I just inserted taped spaces plugin straight onto the track. Listen with and without. So everything becomes a bit more diffuse right before the chorus. What I like to do is to just increase the send effects. You can, of course, go in and change the decay, for example, make the decay longer. That's also a thing you can do. And again, it has nothing to do with genre. It has something to do with the intention behind. So that is to bring something forward or push something away in the mix. I heard some reverb automation to decrease a bit the focus of the background vocals without being too noticeable. This is a song in the acoustic genre. It's only a guitar and vocals. And listen to this with and without. So without first. Okay. Now with. So again, I have lowered the volume a bit using automation and increased the send effects to the Valhalla vintage verb. Now, if you like this video so far, hit the like button, because YouTube is always on the lookout for videos with likes so that the YouTube can share it with more people who might find this valuable. So you're doing us all a great favor by hitting that like button. Thank you so much for that. Now, the next automation trick that can be used in any genre is volume automation. Now, this is a classic, and I don't think you can watch a video about automation without volume automation being mentioned. Now listen how the volume automation helps for making the vocals a lot more intelligible. Listen without first and then with. Angelina, baby. Yeah, so you can hear here that some quiet parts are being turned up, some louder parts are being turned a bit down to make for more consistent sounding dynamics without it sounding too compressed. Or you want an instrument to be more present at a certain point in a mix where a lot of things are happening at once, making it quite dense. So you want something to poke out a bit. You can use volume automation to obtain that. And that goes for any song in any genre. You can use it subtly or you can use it drastically or radically. This is a dirty Norwegian boom bap hip hop song, and the volume automation on the mix bus right here is quite spectacular. So you can listen to the difference with and without. And with. You hear how powerful the chorus becomes when everything is just turned down a bit. You can't not love that trick, you know. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now the fourth automation trick for virtually any genre is one of my favorites, and that's actually a plugin. This is kind of different from the other tricks, but you actually need a plugin for this. It's the Baby Audio Transit. Of course, you can pull off all of this with a combination of plugins, but this plugin just makes it a lot easier. A replacement for this plugin could be the free kilohertz bundle, but you need to combine all those plugins and create chains and stuff. It's a bit more tedious and not that fun to work with, to be honest, because the Transit has all these presets that you can just browse through. I'm by no means a preset guy, but I like browsing through the presets in Transit because the plugin consists of different modules, and so you have the distortion module, bit crusher module, you have a reverb, you have delay, phaser, flanger, what have you. So it gives you a quick view of the possibilities, and then you can tweak to taste. But oftentimes I find myself just using the preset as it is, to be honest. Here's a couple of examples on how I use the Baby Audio Transit in different genres. Look at this. Here is a house song that I've used, that I've actually displayed in another Splice video. Look at this. You can listen with and without. And with. This is a noise up generator. This is a preset that I've tweaked slightly, I guess. Maybe I didn't tweak it at all. I've inserted straight to the track with a 10% wet. So here's an acoustic track, and the Baby Audio Transit can also be used here. Slightly more subtle. It isn't like the genre where you wanna go all in with the transitional effects, but just to make things a bit more interesting, create a bit more movement, the Baby Audio Transit is a great fit in any genre. Listen to this. Okay, and now with. Just some tremolo and distortion at the end of this guitar note right here, just to create some movement and interest. So the Baby Audio Transit can be used really subtly or drastically, radically, intensely, depending on the genre, of course, but you can use it in soft acoustic genres as well as EDM genres. So it really floats the boat for many sailors, so to speak. The fifth and final automation trick that can work for any genre that I'm going to show you now is pair automation. I have never heard about pair automation before, but you know, there are variations of it around across the internet and in mixing and mastering circles, I guess. This is a trick that I picked up from a podcast by UBK a long time ago, and I've tried it and I've been using it ever since, and I really like it. You do one track and another track, and you make those contrasting with each other to shift the focus from one of the tracks to another and then back again, for example. You can do this with volume, panning, reverb, actually, filters, EQ filters and such. Keep in mind that you can use whatever to pull this off. So take a look at this. We have two string sections. I've used a pan right here to do some opposite automation. So you see here, I have turned it to one side by 30 and the other side by approximately 30. And I've done the same thing with the volume. So the focus is on this string section, but as we proceed, the focus shifts from this section to this one. Listen without first. Okay, and then listen with. Then I have some pure automation going on here, again with the volume. Just listen to this in solo, with and without. Okay, and then with. You see how the focus shifts a bit? It's all really subtle, but creates some movement, creates some shift in focus. And you can also, of course, go more overboard than I've done right here. Which of these tricks is your favorite? And do you know of any other trick that can be used in any genre, or at least more than one genre? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now, if you like mixing tips videos like this, check out one of these videos, because there you will find some gold as well, I think. And I encourage you, go out there, tweak those automation parameters, and never leave a mix before having automated something. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.